Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Hello everyone, Carrie here with Unicorn Company, and today we are kicking off what I'm calling Tanksgiving. That's right, we're going to be covering the last of the tank force packs in the next 3 episodes, and the first of these is going to be the Recon and Hunter Lances. Now, this force pack comes with 8 vehicles, 2 Behemoth tanks, 2 Ontos tanks, 2 Skulkers, and 2 Warrior helicopters. So let's go ahead and run through this force pack. Now, the first one I want to cover here is the Warrior. And this is the first VTOL. Obviously, I mean, the whole Mercenaries thing is the first time there's ever been any tanks in plastic. And the Warrior stands out because it is the only VTOL in the entire force pack. And quite frankly, they have done an amazing job on this. Now, if you're familiar with the Warrior miniature from Iron Wind Metals, it's not a bad miniature. It's actually a pretty good representation of a attack helicopter. But this is just beautiful. So they've taken what was good about the Warrior and expanded on it, and also they've made it look even more like something you would expect to see as far as a modern helicopter. Now, the Warrior retains its dual rotors, the 2, I assume that they contra-rotate rotors. I do have to say I am not the biggest fan of the fact that they are permanently attached, and that there was no, instead of doing it that way, they could do an option to where possibly one or even both of them could rotate. Now, let's take a look at the miniature for the nitpicking, because that's what I do. Alright, so I'm going to pop it off the flight stand. Oh, and I do want to mention it comes with 2 different flight stands, one of which is about 2 inches tall, the other one is maybe 3 or I'd say about 5 millimeters, maybe less than that actually. I guess that's to represent it landed. So you can have it in flight or you can have it grounded. And looking at the miniature, overall the quality of it is really good. The little under winglet SRM2s are represented well. And let's see, there is a mold line on the front of one of the winglets. Other than that, I think we have a really clean miniature here. Yeah, this thing is super clean. I'm quite surprised. Like, I would expect this to be a very hard unit to mold in one piece, and it looks like they've mostly been able to do that. The chin gun is a separate part. It does not rotate, unfortunately. That would have been a nice little addition. And like I said, the rotors don't rotate, and they don't have any obvious mold lines or anything. So overall, I would say that the Warrior is an awesome helicopter. As far as the Alpha Strike cards for it, let's take a look at those. First, we have the Warrior H7, which is 15 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM of 3, movement of 18 inches VTOL. It is a scout. I think I mentioned it's 15 points. It is available in the Succession Wars Forward. It has a short and medium of 1, a long of 0 with an asterisk, and armor of 1 with structure of 2 with Atmo, elemental engine, and searchlight. We then go to the H7C Warrior, and this is 20 points. It's also Succession Wars Succession Wars Forward, although it looks like, no, it doesn't skip in here. I don't know why that looks weird. It's a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM 3, movement of 18 VTOL, sniper. It is 1 short, 2 medium, 1 long, with 1 armor, 2 structure again, Atmo, elemental engine, indirect fire 1, and search. Of course, then we would go to the next iteration, I mean, technically... Okay, so technically the next iteration is the H8 Warrior, which is 20 points as well. It's a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM4, movement of 20 VTOL. It's a striker. Has a short of 1, medium of 2, and a long of 0 with an asterisk. It only has 1 armor and 1 structure, and is available from the Clan Invasion forward. And then finally, we have the H7F Warrior. Now, this is a 15-point unit. It is a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM4, movement of 20 VTOL. It's a scout. Has a short, medium, and long of 0 with an asterisk. Armor of 1, structure of 2, with Atmo, fire control, searchlight, and tag. It's available from the Dark Ages forward, and quite frankly, I'm not quite sure. In Alpha Strike, okay, yes, having a 20-inch movement TMM4 helicopter is nice, but it really has like no hitting value. I mean, if I'm going to go with a 15-point warrior, I'm going to take the H7, simply because it at least can do 1 damage consistently, as opposed to the no damage. We'll just put it that way. So next up, we have the Skulker Scout Tank, and this is one of these smaller miniatures. I do like it. It's kind of a weird little model. The radar dish on it is a separate part. It does not rotate, so just keep that in mind. You can't turn that. It just sticks the way they put it. Overall, as far as the model, I'm looking at it here. I'm not seeing anything that really stands out to me as far as mold lines or anything like that. I do think it has an interesting architecture. I don't know how else to put it, where it looks like the 2 rear wheels are on a gimbal mount, almost like this would drive like a forklift, if that makes sense. Like the two rear wheels, they look like they're on this kind of rotating turret-like mount, and the front wheel is it's on its own axle, and that's just fixed like right behind the cab. Yeah, overall, pretty good miniature. Nothing on it rotates, nothing moves. I don't see any mold lines that stick out to me. Nothing on this screams, hey, this needs to be fixed. And they've done quite a good job with the amount of detail they have. So hopping on over to the Alpha Strike cards for it, we once again have 2 double-sided cards. And there are some interesting options in here. I just got to say that. So we start off with the standard Skulker Scout Tank. It is 14 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM3, movement of 14 wheeled. It's a scout. It has a short and medium of 1, a long of 0, armor of 2, structure of 1, with elemental engine, energy, and searchlight. And this is available in every era. So this would be your standard Skulker. Nothing super special about it. Then we get into the different variants here. So first you have the SRM. This is pretty much a weapon swap. And it's almost, I want to say it's almost, if not exactly identical. It's 14 points. It's combat vehicle, size 1, TMM3, 14 wheeled. Yeah, it is identical to the standard Skulker as far as damage, everything else. The only thing is in specials, it does not have energy, and it is not available during the Star League era. So technically, I guess if you wanted to field 2 Skulkers in Southern Assault, and they're both available to your faction, the standard and the SRM are identical. But then we get to the 2 more interesting variants. First of all, there's a C3 Master version of the Skulker, which I didn't even realize. So it's 15 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM3, 14 wheeled movement. It's a scout, available from the Blakist era forward. Has no damage values at any range. Armor of 2, structure of 1. And this is literally a command vehicle. It's a C3 Master. Elemental engine, energy, because it has no weapons, mech Mobile Headquarter 5, Searchlight, and Tag. And like I said, it's Blakist era forward. It is literally there to be able to allow you to set up a C3 network. And yeah, I mean, nothing really to say on that. It's just kind of weird. I mean, I could see value in if you just wanted a really cheap C3 master in an Alpha Strike game, but it's a very vulnerable C3 master. You would have to hide it somewhere and pretty much just never move or run away from anything that does find you. We then have the Skulker C, which is the clan version of the Skulker. Now, this is 21 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM3, movement of 18 wheeled. It's a scout once again. And damage values are once again 1 at short, 1 at medium, 0 at long, 2 armor, 1 structure. They've just made this thing into a actual scout vehicle, I guess. It has case, ECM, light probe, recon, searchlight, stealth, and the watchdog system. So this is definitely meant to just park somewhere, hide, report on the enemy's position, and hopefully not get shot. And if you do, you run for your life with that 18 movement and hope that they are not very good at shooting. So that gets us through the 2 lighter vehicles in this force pack. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 2 heavier ones. Now, the first of these is one of my favorite units ever. It is the Ontos. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the Ontos. The Ontos is a wonderful tank. I absolutely love it. And, of course, the turret itself rotates. The LRM launcher on the turret does not. And it does have a turret that pops off, so you can paint the hull and the turret separately. And, oh my god, did they do an amazing job on this tank. Like, yeah, the little light tank, the Skulker, yeah, cool, it's nice. But I am a big fan of the Ontos, especially the 3052 or 58 upgrade. I forget which one. I think they have it in the cards. So, yes, 3053 upgrade. And this thing is just a beast on the table. And I absolutely love it. And as far as this model, like, going around the hull looks good, it's clean, everything's well defined, there are nice panel lines on it. They've retained a lot of that look from the 3025, 3026 art. I think it was 26 that showed up in. I might be wrong. But, you know, the paneling and everything, even on the turret, it just looks amazing. And mind you, the medium lasers, it looks like they had a little bit of trouble getting those to mold exactly the way they wanted, but they're not bad. There is a mold line at the top of each of the medium laser arrays, which would easily be taken off with like a hobby knife or a sanding stick, and otherwise, like, this is just awesomeness in my hand. I love it. Now, without me gushing over this thing, like, quality overall, like, this is your average quality for Catalyst miniatures. It's not something that is like the end all be all, but it is a huge step up from the metal Ontos, and it just looks so good. And I love the amount of detail they're able to squeeze in here. One other thing I did notice on the front, from the tank's left, there is a slight clip point on the front armor over top of the turret, or not turret, over top of the tread, that looks like it's super easy to clean up. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Now, looking at the Ontos tank, we once again have 4 different variants. The first of these is the standard Ontos heavy tank at 31 points. It is available from the Succession Wars forward. It's a combat vehicle, size 4, TMM1, movement of 6. It's a juggernaut, has short and medium of 5, long of 1, with armor of 4 and structure of 5, with elemental engine, indirect fire 1, searchlight, and turret 551 with indirect fire 1. Overall, if you're playing a Succession Wars era game, this is a nice little monster to have in your arsenal. Now, the next one we have here would be the one that came out during the clan invasion, and this would be the 3053 upgrade, which is my favorite version of the Ontos. So this one is 42 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 4, TMM1, movement of 6 inches tracked. It is a juggernaut. Like I said before, it's available from the clan invasion forward. It has a short and medium of 7 and a long of 2. So while it's not going to go very fast, it is going to hit very hard. And at 42 points, that is a bargain for a sledgehammer. I'm not gonna lie. And of course, because you can take two of the same variant in Southern Assault, this is absolutely brutal. I mean, you just think about it for a minute, and yeah, 772. We're talking Mad Cat W numbers as far as damage. It's just not as fast, so you're going to get hit more, and you're not going to go as far. But you have armor of 6 and structure of 5 with case, indirect fire 1, searchlight, turret 772, indirect fire 1. So yeah, this is, if I ever take an Ontos to a event, this is the one I'm taking. And of course also with Southern Assault, not this year but last year, one of my partners went with me and she played, and when we built her list, because she was building a Magistracy of Canopus list, there were 2 of these in that list, and a lot of her opponents were like, oh my god, that is terrifying. And quite frankly, it is, and it's really fun. So the next one to come out was the light Gauss rifle version of the Ontos, which, yes, the Ontos is a weird tank. It is a tank that is essentially a slew of medium lasers with a missile launcher. But somebody decided in the Free Worlds League that there needed to be one with light Gauss rifles. So this one is 32 points. It's built from the FedCom Civil War era forward. It is a combat vehicle, size 4, TMM1, movement of 6 inches tracked. It's a sniper. Has a short of 3, medium of 4, long of 3, with armor of 6 and structure of 5. And this one has searchlight and turret 343. Overall, not the best version of the Ontos. Now, here's another version of the Ontos that I have not played with, and I don't know if it's available, because it gives me a tiny points drop, so the Ontos plays at medium range. Long range is just there because somebody decided a missile launcher needed to go on it. But I need to see if this is available to mercenaries. This is the chemical laser Ontos. It is 41 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 4, TMM1, movement of 6 tracked. It's a juggernaut. It has short and medium of 7 and a long of 1. So you're not paying for that 1 extra long range damage. Once again, it has armor of 6 and structure of 5 with case, indirect fire 1, searchlight, and turret 771 with indirect fire 1. And this is available from the Dark Ages forward. Quite frankly, if this version of the Ontos is available to me, and I have mentioned that I'm going back to Southern Assault one last time, at least as a player. After that, I'm probably going to hang up the gloves, as it were. I had my 1 win in the second Southern Assault, and quite frankly, at this point, I'm just playing to play. I'm playing to have fun, and I feel like I also want to be able to help others enjoy that. And part of that is going to be helping to run tournaments and advertise and stuff like that, which I already advertise for Southern Assault when I can, because it is a wonderful event. So the last tank we have here is one of the biggest monsters in the BattleTech universe. It is the Behemoth Heavy Tank. Now, looking at the miniature itself, it's an interesting miniature. Okay, so the Behemoth is big, like really big, and they've been able to get it roughly Ontos sized, if that makes any sense. So it's not a massive Behemoth. As far as the hull, starting there, looking at it, I do think the little sponsons, which I think have flamers in them, I don't remember. I'd have to look at the Behemoth record sheet. They don't look as detailed as I think they should, but everything else looks really good, at least on the hull. I don't see any obvious mold lines or any issues. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. They hid the mold line in the corner of the tracks. That is just absolute genius. I'm looking for the clip point and I'm not seeing it. Usually you can at least find the clip point on it. And I do not see the clip point. Okay, so they've done a really good job with this, and I love how they hid the mold lines. I do wish the little holes for the missile launchers on the front of the hull were a little bit bigger, and also the sponsons I think needed a little bit more love. As far as the turret, which on this thing the turret is massive. And okay, so first thing I gotta say, once again, the missile launcher, like if you look at the Ontos missile launcher and compare it, the holes for the missiles on the Behemoth are way small. And I think that's sort of a failing. I do wish they were a little bit more pronounced, but I know that they're also working within what limitations they have. I mean, in order to make a lot of this the same size as what you see on some of the other vehicles, you would need to have this model roughly twice the size. The turret... Okay, I know BattleTech has magic space armor, but that flat front on the turret with the windows just screams to me problem. Like, my modern military, you know, like, this is how a tank is supposed to work. Now, mind you, yes, the Ontos has a big flat front to the turret, and yes, there's a window on it, but this thing has, like, I guess that's the commander's window, and below it is like a panoramic set of windows, which I guess is for the gunner? I don't know. That is just, yeah, it's really bad. But overall, I mean, so there's a mold line on each side hidden under, like, there's like a panel that juts out over the top on each side, and that's where the mold line is. So, I mean, they were able to hide it pretty well. Shouldn't be that hard to remove. And yeah, I mean, overall the model's really nice. It's just the part of me that knows how stuff works as far as like armor and stuff like that just totally screams at me that this is a death trap. But in BattleTech, it is really good. So yeah, as far as the miniature, I mean, it's nice, it's big, it's intimidating. I don't know if it's my cup of tea. So let's take a look at the Behemoth Heavy Tanks cards. Once again, 2 double-sided cards, so we have 4 tanks. And okay, so this is a very interesting set of cards. And you'll see why in a second. First, we have the Behemoth Heavy Tank at 39 points. Maybe I should not judge it so much. Okay, it's a combat vehicle, size 4. It has no TMM, 4 inches tracked movement, Juggernaut, available from the Succession Wars Forward. It has a short and medium of 6 with a long of 2, armor of 7, structure of 5, with specials of AC 220, elemental engine, indirect fire 1, LRM 111, Searchlight, SRM 22, Turret 440, SRM 22, AC 220. Okay, so yeah, I still feel like the Ontos, the 53 Ontos is superior to that. But mind you, this is Succession Wars Forward, so this would be able to beat up on a Succession Wars Ontos. Next, we have a couple upgrades. Well, we have 3 upgrades. First of them is the Kurita variant of the Behemoth, which is 44 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 4, TMM 0, movement of 4 inches tracked. It's a Juggernaut. It is short and medium of 7, long of 4, with armor of 7 and structure of 5 once again. Has indirect fire 1, searchlight, turret 773, which puts it on par with the Ontos as far as damage capabilities, with a little bit better at long, with availability from the FedCon Civil War forward. And of course it gets really weird because apparently House Davian had to respond in the Dark Ages with the Davian variant of the Behemoth Heavy Tank at 45 points. And this is a combat vehicle size 4, TMM0, 4 inches tracked movement. It's a juggernaut once again. It has short of 7, medium of 8, and long of 4. Armor on this is once again 7, and structure is 5, with specials of case, searchlight, and turret 553. I don't like the turret not having the same, all the damage, which I know, yes, in classic BattleTech it makes more sense, but in Alpha Strike, yeah, it's just way easier and way better if you have like all your damage capabilities in that turret, and that's available from the Dark Age forward. Now, of course, with the Davians making their own variant, House Karita had to upgrade theirs, which is now 48 points. It is a combat vehicle size 4, TMM0, movement of 4 inches tracked. Once again, this is a juggernaut. Has short of 8, medium of 8, long of 4. Armor of 7, structure of 5, with ballistic resistant armor, case, searchlight, and turret 774. And this is available also in the Dark Ages forward. So that covers all of the miniatures themselves and the cards. Let me go ahead and get you some pricing on this. Okay, so as far as prices, what we're looking at is retail of $39.99, and Fortress Miniatures Games will be selling it once it is out at $29.99. And quite frankly, it's 25% off. That is an amazing deal. And yeah, I would highly recommend this. And if you have any BattleTech needs, I would recommend you going to our sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games, who I use for the pricing and everything. They do have an estimated release of October 1st, but obviously that has come and gone, and it is not October 1st. So I want to thank Fortress. I want to thank all of my patrons. All of you make this possible. And I also hope that you have a good day, good evening, good whatever it is where you are. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to get more. Thank you very much and have a good day. That was a weird sign off, wasn't it? Oh well, we're going to stick with it. Later, y'all. I want to thank all of our patrons and sponsors. Starting off, we have at the rank of Captain, Sarah. Then we have our Mercenary Review Bonding Commission representative, also known as our sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games. We then have our lieutenants, Boy in a Box, Haley, and Nathan. Our sergeants, Blind Zen Archer, Gus, Faz, and Steven. And let's not forget our cadets, NB Kaiju, Jamie, and Scott. Thank all of you for supporting the podcast and the channel. And if you would like to support us, and you can go to patreon.com/unicorn company, where we have a number of tiers. One might just fit you. So thank you all very much and have a good day.